We're here at USDGC, and I have Adam with me.
What's up, guys?
Adam owns Disc in the Dark. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Disc in the Dark is, Adam?
So Disc in the Dark is actually, we're an online retailer. We sell products that are developed, designed for pretty much like making your glow rounds as good as they can be. We sell products that go from charging your disc to lighting your basket. Another thing that led to for us is we follow around the Pro Tour. We find out, real unique events across the country. We partner up with them and we come out and we do things like you may see behind me. Tonight we just did a ace race with the guys from Another Round, trying to throw off for the basket. But as we travel with the tour, sometimes we'll set up away from the course. Sometimes we'll set up on the course where the pros actually play. Like tonight, where we're here at that iconic hole 7 here at Winthrop University. USDGC is kind of like the top of where you go with disc golf, and we're here glowing it up. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell right there.
So what does that look like when you go to an event? Yeah, what does that look like? What do you normally do?
Depending on the event, depending on the region has a lot to do with it, because you've got, climates are different, daytime, nighttime. The time of year has a lot. I'm from the South, so glow is cool to play summer, spring, but you can't really do it until 8:30, 9 o'clock, at the earliest. But if it's wintertime, I focus on the region where I'm from, because it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon, after daylight savings. But if it's a Pro Tour event, a lot of times it's like I mentioned before. We'll go to a course like here at Winthrop, or one of my favorites to do, Maple Hill, places like that where it's a bucket list destination for a disc golfer, and they get to watch the pros play. And then we come out and maybe not set up the whole course, but we set up a temporary course using, 3 to 5 holes in our own baskets. And it gives the fans who come out here and spend all day an opportunity to come play the course. Oftentimes, a lot of the pros, they'll come out, they'll participate too. So it's just another opportunity for them to be social. But on top of that, another thing you hear from them so often is like, this is the most fun I've had since I was this big. We forget that these people we idolize and come to these events to watch, this is their job. They do this for a living. You think there's a lot of pressure on you to not bogey, but this is USDGC. There's a lot of pressure on every single person you throw a disc. So to hear somebody play at that level and come say this is the best time they've had in disc golf since they started, it's pretty humbling and a cool thing for me.
So what does that look like when you're setting up? Like I see some strip lights, but like.
So yeah, that's again, depending on the event. Like we have some, recently I was in Canada for the Canadian Nationals, and we did an ace place course that was designed to be short throws. It was still 18 holes. That's a pretty big setup. When we travel around, we try and stick to 2,500 feet. I've got the lights. I've got 15 miles of lights. So, like I said, we've lit some of the biggest courses. We've gone out to Eagles Crossing and done some things out there, which is a monster course. Again, I said Maple Hill, we've done that. Out northwest, they've got Milo and Portland, that's Glendoveer, lighting that up. It's an experience. Like even myself, like I find myself just so amazed that like here we are playing glow at this course that I've watched on TV and YouTube. My favorite people come through, and this is something that's on their calendar for their job, and here we are playing it for fun.
You mentioned the 15 miles of lights,
okay,
which is a lot of.
It's a lot of lights.
So what does a setup look like? What's an average setup look for you when you go to a tour?
So when I do a tour event, often, like I've said, I like to keep it around 9 lights and make it to where I can set up something where there's CTPs or ace challenges, and it's inclusive to everybody. It's really hard to run an event that's for fun and then also have like a competitive side to it. And I do my best to accommodate that, but Not to knock any like classification of human, but you've got males and females and adults and children and different degrees of, mastering this sport. So when you say here's 9 holes, there's a CTP on every hole, you want to make that something that's fair for everybody. And my favorite thing about some of these shorter little ace run courses we set up is more often than not that demographic you think doesn't stand a chance ends up having more CTPs than anybody because it's just in their max, distance kind of thing. So it works out. It's fun for everybody. It gives those guys that play serious a chance to work on some of their approach game, and just it's Glow is for fun, but when you're playing with your group of friends, there's a lot of pressure on you to make some of these shots, so it just incorporates everything that we love about disc golf and, kind of reinvents it in a way to do it at night,